We've seen Chelsea spend so much money in the past couple of years. It kind of became a bit disappointed to see how they played in the past couple of years and how well they did in terms of sporting performance. Because the past couple of years they didn't really have the best domestic success. I think they finished mid-table once, and they finished I think fifth or fourth in Premier League table this year, which honestly kind of good according to expectations. And they won the Conference League trophy this year. But until this summer, I didn't really saw them as like major teams in Premier League, like tier S teams were able to compete for the Premier League title or do anything spectacular in European competitions, such as Champions League. And like honestly, like Conference League trophy, that win is pretty good because like it's a European trophy. But the competition in that competition wasn't really that great. Apart from Calvetic who debated the final, the rest of the opponents were kind of fairly easy to them. And in the Europa League, without Man United, those teams were not that good in Premier League, and they won a more prestigious European competition. So I don't think that trophy really meant a lot for Chelsea in terms of proving what they were as a team. And I think this summer, that kind of all changed for Chelsea. We kind of saw a Chelsea team who, I mean, the past couple of years, they spent a lot of money on young players. I think it was all young players, and I mean, I've always been a very big critic of how Chelsea did acted this summer. Also bringing young players, some of them were to actually build a squad around, but the majority of them were to kind of develop like 1 year or two, maybe all alone, or even into a team on Chelsea's team, and then kind of sell them for profits. It's kind of their main method of making money towards players. And for a while now, I don't really see them as a proper football team that win very big trophies for football. So now, obviously, seeing them coming into this Global Cup tournaments, obviously, I expect them to do well in terms of making quarterfinals, semifinals, because a lot of these teams are also participating were not that good. Like the Brazilian teams were not that good as Chelsea, and even the European teams like Dortmund or Salzburg, even Porto and Benfica are not that good as to Chelsea. So I can expect them to do well, but not go to the final or even compete for the title. So when I saw them actually go to the final and beat PSG there, I was so surprised. Obviously, the run they had in the competition was kind of easy. I think in the semi-final they beat Fluminense, obviously not that big of a competitor. When you saw PSG, I even know what they beat in the semi-final. However, going to the final, I think it was very fair to see and say and predict that PSG was going to win fairly easy to Chelsea, especially because we saw PSG get a 4-0 win to win the Champions League final. So we saw a Chelsea team who, I mean, no offense, but was not as good as Inter team were. I kind of expected them to get a smashing and not really lose by 3-4 goals as well. So to see them win that game, I think really put my eyes to perceive how good Chelsea team is and how well they may do next season. Because looking at the squad, I can see that this is just an amazing team. Looking at the keeper, for instance, Gabriel Sanchez, I think at goalkeeper position where Chelsea wanted the most to reinforce. They have Gabriel Sanchez, but that doesn't really inspire a lot of confidence to me, and I think Chelsea doesn't either. And they wanted to bring in Mike McNann. I mean, a keeper I'm really big fan of, but still a better keeper than Gabriel Sanchez. And to be fair, Gabriel Sanchez had his moments in the final, pretty well through the finals, but he had these shaky moments as well. But still, I mean, they have also like 3-4 managers, 3-4 backup keepers in that squad. So while I think there's still time to improve on the keeper position, Gabriel Sanchez is still a pretty good keeper that's able to play for a team like Chelsea that has the aspirations. And to be fair, right now we're going through an era where maybe keepers that are better shot stopping are more preferred than ball playing keepers. We're going to come back to that old mentality of like Donnarumma, PSG, and Yusuf says, and that's a guy that's almost a zero on the ball. Even Chachmashvili now Liverpool is going to start to get his starting keeper position. It's also more of a shot stopper as well. So you see Robert Sanchez also become a more important goalkeeper over the next few months. But again, that might be the position where Chelsea might need to reinforce the most alongside their defense. Also, Marco Gurdella, a left back, who I think was kind of a meme player the past couple of years. But now this year, I think that's like his breakthrough or his comeback here. He has solidified himself as one of the best left backs in world football. And an amazing tournament, an amazing season. I think he was even nominated into the Prime's best left backs this season. That kind of just signifies how much of development he had under Maresca and how good it is now for Chelsea. And I mean, obviously, like maybe around like a year, maybe like Gurdella was the guy that maybe had his foot set on next to for Chelsea, but now he's a guy that is a key player for Chelsea, and they don't really want to sell them. Even in the inside the back, Levi Cal has also become an amazing player. Obviously, has shown a lot of promise at Brighton. I'm pretty sure that when he's playing at Brighton, and is now an amazing player for Chelsea. Chelsea is also a pretty good squad player, and they have some trouble with Isasi, Fofana, and Badiashile, three French defenders. But those are guys that maybe can also develop to be pretty good defenders, or they have also have guys in the squad that they can help develop to become the starting defenders. Also, I think Joel Out is also going to be brought in this summer. So another young guy who's done very well at Ajax is a guy who's going to bring that leadership, that matured experience. I'm excited to see how Arthur's going to develop as well as Chelsea. I think he has potential to be one of the best defenders in like 2 or 3 years. And right back, Rich James and Malo Gusto, those are two pretty good players at right back. And Rich James can kind of do a job at midfield if needed. So 2 pretty good right backs, versatile as that, can play a variety of roles. So that defense, obviously, they have pretty good role players or squad players, and they have some pretty good players. I still kind of see them maybe need to improve that defense. But apart from that, like the midfield and attack, the 4 line are amazing. Midfield with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, those 2 guys was brought in at Chelsea as 100 million euros plus signings. Were very, very expensive signings. I think Caicedo at the time actually broke Premier League transfer record. I'm not sure. But those 2 guys, they had a very difficult start to the season at Chelsea, start life at Chelsea. They kind of were described as flops like a year into careers at Chelsea or a year and a half in careers at Chelsea. And this year, again, same as Cucurella, they've established themselves as probably one of the best midfield duels in the world, one of the best midfielders in the world. Caicedo especially has become maybe, I won't say the best number 6 in the Premier League, but at least like a top 3 at that, maybe even top 2 in the Premier League football. And Enzo Fernandez is not really that far off from him because he's become a very good number 8, a guy who's exceptional at passing. The potential we saw him at Benfica, coming into Chelsea, also playing in the World Cup with Messi in Argentina. The potential we saw Enzo Fernandez have is now being fulfilled. We're now seeing that Enzo Fernandez at full capacity that we expected him to have. And like even at number 10, Cole Palmer, I'm not going to play at number 10, I expect him to have. Cole Palmer is an amazing player. Like, he came from Man City. Again, a transfer that kind of add question marks as much of the transfers that Chelsea has had the past couple of years. But Cole Palmer is an amazing player. I mean, he had a very rough stretch in this season, like a 2-3 month stretch where I don't think he recorded a single goal or assist. Maybe it's just a goal. I think a goal and assist. But now, towards the end of the season, we kind of saw Cole Palmer and his true quality. He's just an amazing player. Against Spanish, the Conference League final, he stepped up to the plate. And I think 2 amazing assists when Chelsea needed the most to really get him the title. Then against PSG in the Club Cup final, getting 2 goals, I'm pretty sure. Against PSG, like the way he played was amazing. I feel like that's with the franchise player for Chelsea. That's the main player. That's the guy to need to build a team around. Because it's just of immense quality. He can make things happen so easily in the front line. I'm a really big fan of Cole Palmer. Now, I'm a really fan of like attack midfield, like Bruno Fernandes. I'm a really big fan of Bruno Fernandes, and Cole Palmer like kind of gets in the list of very good attack midfielders that I love watching play. And for me, like just an amazing player. And looking at the attack for Chelsea, a striker like they brought in João Pedro and Delp this summer. I don't really see the urgency of bringing 2 strikers, but João Pedro, right off the bat, is coming in, play against Fluminense in the semi-final, was amazing for Chelsea. 1 time in the game with 2 goals, I'm pretty sure, one of them as a banger. And even did well against PSG in the final as well. So, I honestly, I kind of have my question marks around João Pedro because also a lot of goals he scored at Brighton were penalties. And now he kind of defined those questions like just a week in at Chelsea. And it's truly been an amazing player for them. And I can see him have an amazing career at Chelsea. Yeah, like Nicolas Jackson, Dylan Delp, or guys who are a bit more down back in United. Those are 2 guys who I really love watching play. I really love watching them as players. Nicolas Jackson is a guy that he might leave this summer because now he has 2 players above them back in United. But it's a guy that I think any team who has it into a squad, honestly, like obviously his finishing problems are a bit serious. But apart from that, I think he's an amazing striker. It's an amazing player any team can have. Even like Delp, a guy who's still a bit raw in terms of player. But I mean, I don't really mind raw, and getting a guy down that. Obviously, I thought that maybe United would prefer them, or maybe it would be a better fit at United. Even like as Chelsea, like I really see a lot of Gyökeres in him. Obviously, watching Gyökeres play with Sporting, my favorite team, I see a lot of Dylan Delp in him. Being able to see that type of player also flourish himself at Chelsea also be very, very nice to see. Because right now, maybe Chelsea got the best striker rotation in the Premier League. Maybe I feel like maybe Arsenal can be a bit after them. I don't know, but I really think Chelsea's striker rotation is really at the top in world football. And I mean, Chelsea has to be praised by that. Even in terms of wingers, Pedro Neto had an amazing tournaments now in America. And amazing tournaments, shot really well, played really well. I guess I kind of have to praise him by that. Even Mira Gittens was brought in. I'm really pleased to see what they can do there as well. Estevan as well. He's had a pretty good games for Palmeiras at the World Cup, but we want to see how he does for the Chelsea now that he's going to be able to play Premier League at such a young age. I mean, this Chelsea team has quality, has potential as well, because a lot of players have not really yet reached their full level of quality. They're going to be very excited to play a very young team at that. I really see like obviously coming this summer and seeing what every single team done so far this summer. I can expect like Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City to beat their S tier teams Premier League or teams that will be very good in Premier League and contend for the title. I really think Chelsea might have placed themselves in the S tier with what they've done in this summer and how well they proved themselves in America against PSG. Obviously, like it's just tournaments, but I think towards the end of the season we saw Chelsea kind of get that big form as well in Premier League. Qualify for Champions League football was amazing for them as well. So I mean, every single year, I think every single football fan has a team that they buy stock on and they really want to see play well. I'm really intrigued to see how Chelsea does do this season. I'm really buying stock on Chelsea being an amazing team. They're able to contend for the Premier League title. I can see them get a top 3 finish easily and maybe even do a lot well in Champions League because now they have actually is the first season where they've actually have to balance between playing Premier League matches and Champions League matches because Conference League football, they were able to ease past Conference League with playing like a B or a C team with all those players, but they have the squad depth to be able to rotate between each matches and be able to manage that fitness and the quality of the team between weeks with 2-3 games even with competition as well. So I'm not really afraid to see how Chelsea will manage that as well. Also, again, this summer, I mean, they're brought in Dario Sogo, again, I don't really know. I mean, Dario Sogo and then Santos, both guys are pretty good midfielders. I don't know if they have a big role at Chelsea. They're going to bring in Joel Alto. Again, I talked about him before. It's an amazing player for me, amazing defender. It caught my eyes like a year and a half ago at Ajax. He was like the youngest ever captain at Ajax, even younger than what the lead was at Ajax. So you can see how good it could be for Chelsea. Even Xavi Simons, if he actually does come at Chelsea, is another guy who he can play at number 10, can play on the wings. Again, another versatile player that I think Chelsea has a lot of. A lot of versatile players who can play a lot of positions in that front line. And Xavi Simons is a guy that at Leipzig has done amazing. And again, he's another guy, a pretty young guy with a lot of potential. I don't think I've seen Chelsea sign a guy over 35 years old for 3 years. Ever since the summer when like Koulibaly and Ramsdale, all those players came in and with Graham Potter and that felt instantly. I think we saw a shift in Chelsea's like strategy in terms of bringing players, and we're seeing like a very young team that can help them in developing a great team, and also kind of give them profit in terms of selling players for profit in the next 2-3 years. And I mean, obviously, we kind of became accustomed with seeing Chelsea have that dominance in European football, in English football, like Eden Hazard, Petr Cech, Didier Drogba, Lampard, those kind of era we saw Chelsea being that good of a team. After Roman Abramovich left Chelsea as their owner, we kind of saw the dominance for them fall apart. You know, they had like maybe 2-3 seasons where they're not that confident. They lost European football. I think they finished mid-table one at the beginning of the video. And now I think we're seeing Chelsea kind of regain that type of dominance. They have a young team again. I said it 100 times in this video. I can really see us go back to that era of dominance. I mean, Liverpool. I mean, again, I'm really excited to see how Premier League is gonna do this year because Arsenal showed an amazing team last year. They are strengthening by former players gonna help them so much. City as well. Like they were so bad last year. The first half of the season, they now have Rodri back, a Ballon d'Or winner, and they're gonna bring in more players who are just help the squad grow. And also Liverpool, I mean, it's just after winning a Premier League title, they brought in Fornvers, Ekitiki, Frimpong, Kerkesh. They also bring in Isaac as well. Like these 4 teams, like these 2 teams alongside with Chelsea, are maybe the best top 4 teams we've seen in Premier League for a long time now. And I couldn't be more excited to see all these 4 teams do in Premier League and how competitive will it be to watch. I mean, we're coming off a season where a lot of people said that this was the worst season ever of competition for the first top in the first spot. Like we didn't really see any really good team for in this season. Like even Liverpool wasn't really that good of a team. I think this season might be the best opposite of that. We're gonna see an amazing season for all these four teams, maybe even an outsider to actually come in also compete for top four finish, top five finish. I'm really excited to see what the Premier League holds for us football fans next year.